You don't need, you don't need any. All right. So
I still like to do mascara, you know.
yeah.
I don't do much, but it just opens the eyes.
Yeah, the
eyebrows.
mascara is good. I know I put a little mascara and some eyeshadow on a little.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So we have come together today to have a conversation about each other. So we get to know each other a little better.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to do that.
No, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. So, okay, who wants to go first?
I can go first, because I mean, that's going to be pretty much the same question, right?
Okay.
So if you want to tell us how you started as a model, because you started as a model first and then became a modeling agent. So tell us the story.
Okay, the story is, let's see. All right, so when I was about 15, a friend of my brother's took some pictures of me and sent them to Ford. And the scout of Ford came down to Richmond, Virginia and found me. So I went up to New York on the plane for the first time ever. I was very dressed up in a suit, which is very funny to think about now.
Wow. How old you were? So
I was about 16, 15 or 16. Went up to New York, got with Ford, signed with them, stayed at the Ford's house, which was pretty amazing to stay in their house for 3 or 4 months, developing my portfolio. Then I went away to Spain, and that was the first place I ever went. I did some modeling around Richmond a little bit just to get into it, and then I went away to Spain, was with an agency there. I think it's called Natasha's. I think that's right. Anyway, and then just started modeling. I mean, I was modeling everywhere with Ford. In Japan, they sent me to Japan and Paris, and you know, I modeled with them. I guess the longest time of anybody was probably with Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess after so much time, Ford was like, you know, you're too exotic looking. We just don't know where to place you and what to do with you. So then I ended up going with Elite, but still traveling all over the world. So I traveled all over the world modeling for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
It's a long time.
It's a long time. It was a long time. It really was. I mean, I took a lot of breaks, I'll have to say, because when you start like in Japan, you're working 12, 14, 15-hour days. So like after I would go to Japan or something, I'd go back home to Virginia with my mom and hang out with her. And, you know, always holidays I would go back home. So, but it was a long time, a lot of jobs. And I just found my daily books, diaries from modeling. And I couldn't believe like all the people I have met over the 13 years of modeling. I mean, it was everyone from Macy's to JCPenney's to big photographers from all over the world. I mean, it was pretty cool to look at all, like I had forgotten because you don't remember all that. But
that's really great you did it, right? So
yeah. You mean modeling or just?
No, like, I mean, you had a diary, you said, so was it like more like for tracking jobs, or was it personal diary for you?
It was both. Actually, I did sort of both in it. I actually have always written like sort of diary and poems, like I was into writing poems. So I'd kind of, you know, and I felt alone a lot when I was traveling by myself a lot. So I'd write. And I'd write to like God or dear friend, or I don't know, just write, and, you know, make up poems on the way. So so my diaries do have some like poems or sort of how I was feeling that day, but then it also has all my appointments and where I would go and when I would go. And then when I got the job, and I didn't realize, but I had actually, I mean, I worked a lot, but then I didn't realize how much I had actually worked. And I think the biggest place that I did work was in Paris. I think was the busiest place for me. Yeah.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
And also, like, since you already touched base on model apartments, that's how we call them now.
Yeah.
So I've never experienced that. So could you share the experience, like when you go to another country, like how does it organize? Like, where do you stay? Like, how agency, like, is it like the agency there that provides you with an apartment?
Right. Yeah. So that's exactly what happens. So when you go, I was with Prestige, which was, they worked a lot with Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And you would go into their agency. This is how they did it. And they do it the same now, basically. But you go into the agency and then they'd say, okay, well, here's your castings. Here's your portfolio, put all your pictures in the book. And this is where you're going to be living. So take your suitcase and everything to here and then go on your appointments afterwards. I mean, you start working and start going on castings right away. So you go to an apartment, and normally the apartments would have, lots of girls living together. So like when I lived in Paris, I lived across the street from the Rodin Museum. So I went there every single day, which was amazing, just so amazing. But, and I shared the room with another girl. So we had 2 like single beds in the room. And then we have probably five bedrooms in the apartment. So
I mean, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, we have 1 kitchen, 1, bathroom, and then 5 bedrooms. So it was kind of crazy, like trying to get ready or try to cook or anything like that. Not that and cook.
It's just hard to imagine like 5, 6 girls living together and trying to get ready in the morning.
It's crazy. It was crazy. And then, but a lot of times we go on the same appointments. So, we could all kind of go together. So that was nice. And we just usually take the subway, and back then you didn't have a phone, right? So you'd have a book with a map. So you had I know it's so old style.
Right? No, but it makes sense. Like even 10 years ago, it was not as developed. I mean, nobody had like internet access like everywhere, right? If you go to another country, like it was different even like 10, 15 years ago.
It was so different. And it was hard to find your way with a map. So you look up the address, you look what, zone it was in, and then you go to that zone, you take the subway and go to that zone. I mean, it was different. I got lost a lot. And then in Milan, when I worked in Milan, was the same thing. They give you a map. I mean, it was just a map. It wasn't even a book. Like at least Paris had a book, like a booklet of a map. It was just like a map.
And you don't know where to go.
No, it was really hard to find your way, and I'd end up in all sorts of different areas in Europe. You'd be like, where the heck am I? Trying to find the appointments and everything.
Yeah. And how old you were when you first time went to Europe?
The first time I ever went was to Spain and Barcelona, and I was probably 17. Very, very, to me, that seems very young now. It's 2 years older than my son, so it's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. Think I was going by yourself and figuring things out. Absolutely.
I kind of wish my dad or my mom could have gone, but my mom was working at the time, so she wasn't able to go with me. So I went by myself. I called her so much on the phone that like every month she would have like a $2,000 phone bill. Like, anyway, I paid her back, but it was crazy.
Probably a lot of things to share.
Yeah, it was. All right. Now my turn. I get to ask some questions. Okay. So what was it like, for me, I've never been to Russia. So I wanted to know what it was like growing up in Russia.
So actually I was born in 90s, and that was like the really bad time in Russia. And when I was growing up, I was so little, so I don't remember this like bad times when people actually didn't have like enough food, and it was a lot of criminal stuff going on. So I don't remember that since I was a kid. And when I was growing up, it was pretty normal. Like we already had the same grocery store, restaurants, like everything was pretty much the same as any other European city. So I personally never experienced the lack of food or the lack of goods, how it's been like in 90s, because I know a lot of people actually, if they travel abroad during that time, they were amazed because they would go to a basic grocery store and there were lots of food. And it was not the case in Russia, because in Russia Soviet Union back then, so the people had to stay in line to just, let's say, get I don't know, bread. Or then, and it was, everything was separately, like just to get like bread, it's like one line, to get some vegetables, another one. So it was pretty, you know, difficult back then. That's why a lot of people actually immigrated to other countries.
Yeah. So did your mom and dad, did they still live there?
Yes.
And so did they tell you about how it was growing up?
Yeah, they were telling me, because they said that at one point they only had, so if they said like, if you would open our fridge, there would be only food for me. So for me as a kid, that's it.
Oh, wow.
There's not, it was like that bad. It was like empty. Because when the, what do you call it? The default, I mean, is it the right word, happened? Because pretty much like the money people had, they lost all the money. Because it's like, imagine like, for example, I mean, it's like same if right now here, let's say, I mean, you can buy a certain amount for $100, and then this $100 costs nothing.
Right.
So that would happen. And that's why a lot of people really struggled during this time. And there were a lot of criminal things going on, because that what happens when people are starving.
Right. And so did your parents tell you about that?
Yeah.
Wow. And so did you notice that? I mean, you didn't have any idea that was going on growing up? I mean,
I was so little.
Yeah.
So imagine, so the Soviet Union crashed was 1991, and I was born 1993.
Wow.
So I was so little. I was like 2, 4, I don't know, years old. So that was
1993.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I just don't remember that.
I was in Europe then. So when you go back to visit them, do you like it?
I actually never been back. I mean, I haven't been back since I came here.
Wow.
So, and it's been 4 years now.
So you came to America 4 years ago. And so have you seen your parents since then? Are they come here?
I mean, I saw my mom came.
Yeah.
But my dad, he just got a visa, because it's not that easy to get the visa, because my mom traveled before to US, so she was able to easily get the visa. So for my dad, the process was more difficult, and he just got the visa, and then the COVID happened, so they can't come now. Because I was really hoping that they can come together, because I saw my mom, like she would come like every year.
Right.
But I haven't seen my dad for 4 years.
So your mom would come visit you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least you get to see your mom. Now, do you like FaceTime now?
Yes, that's what we do.
Well, that's good.
We're lucky. Yeah, we're lucky that we have it.
Yeah.
Because my mother-in-law, so she actually came to US that was in 90s, and back then, like she could, like there were no FaceTime.
Right.
She said that she's been spending all money on phone calls, because she was calling her mom and Suraj, my husband. He was still in Russia.
So when did he move here?
So he moved here. I don't remember what year was it, but he'd been here for a while now. So his mom come first. Okay. And she stayed, and I know that she haven't seen him like for 2 years, because she actually came to US when the things were bad in Russia, and she traveled here with her dancing group, and she saw an opportunity. And she said actually a lot of people stayed just because, I mean, they wanted a better future for their kids or their families. Yeah. So she stayed and she worked hard, and then Serge was able to come, like, and so she actually provided him with a better future for sure.
So I just want to point out, it's very interesting to me because I have traveled all over the world, and I've never been in Russia, but I just feel like sometimes Americans forget how lucky we are. I mean, we've, Americans have been through it too, but I just feel like I'm voicing my opinion here, but I really feel like Americans are really, really lucky, and that so many people do try to come to America to have a better life. Like your mother-in-law came here for, your husband to have a better life, and you came here to have a better life. So that's just, I mean, I just think that's really important to sort of stress that. I think We're really lucky.
Yes, that's
And
100%. Because even right now, I'm going to tell you that a lot of my my girlfriends, like that, they're all immigrated somewhere. I have one girl in Italy, another one went to Austria. So it's kind of crazy because, I mean, even right now, there are not a lot of opportunities for my generation, because unless you have...
You mean in Russia?
Yes, unless, because, you know, we all graduated from college. So, okay, what do you do? So unless you have a family member or someone you know, you know, you have some connection somewhere, then you can find a good job. If you don't have it, like, there is not a lot of opportunities for you, even if you're like super good, I don't know, a great professional.
Right.
So that's pretty, so that's limit your, you know, opportunities. And that's why I know a lot of people trying to go to Europe, get an education there, and maybe find a job. And
you went to college. Where did you go to college?
So I went to college back in Russia, and I studied IT. So that was really interesting, because, you know, when I tell people that, they're like, oh, you studied IT. Yeah. So back then, like, it was also very interesting, because when the education system in Russia is like messed up, because I'll be very honest, because the way people think is just, okay, where can I go so I can go with a scholarship so I don't have to pay? That's why, like, when I came to US, I was amazed. Teenagers here, when they are actually thinking, oh, like, what am I interested in life? Do I want to go to this college or that college or that college?
I mean, they have choices.
So you're thinking about, okay, where can I get in so I don't have to pay? That's how people think. It's more about, like, the whole life there is like about survival. So you're thinking, okay, where could you're thinking, okay.
So it's survival instead of choices.
Yes.
Because in the US we have choices.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that's
because the thing is, like, for a lot of Russians, like, their parents aren't making a lot of money, because the thing is, like, we don't have, our middle class is so small. So we have either people that are super rich or super poor. Yeah. The middle class is so small. So for a lot of parents, they can, because the way it works in Russia, usually the parents pay for college, so they cannot afford it. Right. So the best way for you is to find the university where you can be accepted for, you know,
and you got a scholarship.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different there, because I would say in general the education is free. Yeah. But but we have limited amount of spaces. So anything like more than, let's say, they had from, I don't remember how many they had. Let's say they had 200 positions open for my oh my God, my profession, right? Right. In that specific university. So anything more than that, so you have to pay. So it's a little bit different, because in America, the education, like, you pay for your education. And I mean, the scholarship is like only a few people get it. There, it's a little bit different. Like, it's actually free, and you can get in for free. Don't pay. I mean, so government pays for that. Wow. Like, the people that understand, they know that. Yeah, it's so interesting. Nothing is free, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different from here. Just completely different. I don't know why I didn't think it was that. I mean, I knew it was, you know, pretty different, but I didn't realize it was that different. And so
our education, I mean, in school, you don't pay anything unless you go to private school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's here, also, right?
Yeah. But I always, like, the reason why I went to, you know, in tech is I've been always good at math, physics, information technology. So that was something, like, that was so easy for me.
Right. You're smart.
Thank you. I still enjoy doing it. Like, even when, you know, I'm working on our websites. The thing is, like, for me, it's always been pretty, you know, like, I've been very active all the time. So I was, even when I was in college, I was always doing this extracurricular activities. We always been organizing some events. Right. So I like that a lot. And to go in tech, it's different. Like, you really have to sit down a lot
Yeah.
and work on the computer. So that was something like I couldn't imagine myself doing, even though like I was enjoying that.
Mm. Wow. So interesting. And so when did you start modeling? It's been how many years now?
So it's been almost 3 years now.
So 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, like, I mean, growing up, I was way taller than other kids. Like, I remember, I mean, I still have pictures where like all the kids like that's tall, and like I was like really tall. And I feel like it was so interesting because I feel like I reached my height when I was like maybe 12 years old, 13 years old, because I just one summer just grew up so quickly.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped. Like I wasn't, I mean, maybe like growing up a little bit, like 1 inch or so per year, but not so much. So I was always asked if I was a model or if I want a model. I mean, I never really been scouted or anything, but I was just something that people always ask me. So when I came to US, I mean, modeling was always at the back of my mind. And
right.
I felt like that's something, you know, I don't know, can I say that, belong to? And that's something I will be doing eventually. And I just like back then, I thought that I have time, that it's always going to be there for me. So when I came here, I had nothing to do. So first of all, because I wasn't working and I had this crazy schedule back in Russia because I was in college and I had friends and we had this events and I was going to the gym. Like there was so much going on. And when I came here and started living in suburb of DC, that was completely different life.
A little different from where you grew up.
Yes, exactly. Because I haven't not experienced this kind of, you know, life before. Because I didn't live in downtown St. Petersburg, but I was still living in the city. Yeah. So everything was close and the public transportation was really good, as opposed to here when it would take me an hour to just get to the gym. Because the closest bus stop was 20 minutes away. So I would walk there, wait for the bus, then get to the gym, and I still needed to walk a little bit. So it would take me an hour just to get to the gym one way. So, and then another way. So everybody, like, I was exercising like crazy when I just came to US because I feel like that was a highlight of my day.
Yeah, to go exercise.
And go to the gym, and I made some friends there.
It still is probably.
Yes, definitely. So going back to modeling, since I always wanted to try it, and at the time I was 22, 23, so I was like, all right, okay, time is ticking. I was like, because you hear this stories of girls being scouted at like 15, 16, and they already have a great career by age of like 22, 25, right?
Yeah, or you quit modeling at 27, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Or whatever, 28.
Yeah, but I just felt like that here, you know, I feel like people in US think so differently. Like you think that, okay, what do I enjoy? What do I want to do in life? And that's kind of like completely changed my perspective that I can actually do something I like, not trying to
just survive.
Say, or do what people are telling you to do. Because it's also like in Russian culture, not just your, I mean, it's not your parents, but the older, like let's say, friends of your parents, the older generation, they would know better and they would always tell you what to do. It's kind of funny because especially even right now, like sometimes if I go and meet some Russian at the company, like they start asking you, where do you work? How much money do you make? Oh, are you a model? Like, what's that? It's like, are you planning to have kids? What do you guys do? It's like people get so personal.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why like I really like American parties because it's like a small talks. Like nobody, like unless you want
nobody
to
asks you
something.
Totally straight. No, I was gonna say when I worked at Bryan Bantry, there was a woman. She was from Russia, and she actually asked all those questions. She was like, "How come you don't wear makeup? When are you getting married? How many kids are you having? How come you don't have a boyfriend right now?" I mean, she was like totally. I was like,
I know.
I don't even know. I mean, I know you, but I don't know you that well. She would always be like, okay, Kim, this is what you need to do. And then she'd tell me exactly what I needed to do. You need to wear makeup. You need to wear, I mean,
That's funny, right? Because
I know, but
now it's just.
Yeah, she was being sweet. I know, but you know, that's funny.
It's just different. I mean, different cultures. It's
interesting.
But it's something, for example, like I didn't like, and I really like here because nobody
like the small talk.
Small talk, yeah. And I mean, if you want to share something, you do.
Yeah.
It's not like people are trying like to force you to talk about your personal stuff. So going back to modeling. So I mean, since I was from another country and I didn't know anyone in the area, like I didn't even have friends, like no one. So I had to figure out things on my own. And of course, what I did, I started researching. So I went on Google and I started researching everything about modeling. And I feel like it actually took me a few months just to do all the research and kind of like, you know, because I didn't know anything and I wanted to educate myself. So I was like learning what are the digitals, how does modeling agencies work. I researched, I mean, the agencies in the area, the agencies in New York. And I mean, I was so naive to try like submitting the pictures there.
No, I think it's great. Why is that naive?
I mean, I feel like, I mean, right now, I really think that it's the best to start locally and start modeling locally and start with the, you know, smaller agency and develop and get experience.
Yeah.
Build your portfolio. But as many other girls, like when you're starting out, you have this like big picture in your mind that you're just gonna send your pictures and then someone is gonna take you to New York and you're gonna start modeling there and do big things.
Well, that's what happened to me. That's how I did it.
I mean, but the thing is, like, that's amazing. But what I'm always like telling other girls that it doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah. And
you actually have to work hard to get where you want to be.
Yeah. I guess I had it easy with the modeling.
And there are so, I mean, it depends. There are so many girls like that actually been discovered and they never thought of modeling.
Yeah.
But
I never thought about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first started, I had to lose 20 pounds. I mean, I was a tennis player and I had a scholarship to go to West Point, which is a military. If you didn't know that, that's a military school scholarship.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a scholarship to go to West Point, so I could have been in the
in military instead of modeling.
So I chose modeling over the military school. But so I mean, I had to lose weight, but I never even thought about it. I was like, I never thought about modeling or anything like that. I was just from my boyfriend. I mean, my friends. That just sent in pictures. I mean, I had no idea anything about it. And nor did I think I looked like a model, for God's sake. I would have never thought that.
Interesting.
I know. But I find it nowadays, it's really interesting that people are like, I've always wanted to model. This is my dream. And, you know, for me, I never even thought about it. I mean, I thought, you know, I'll go and play tennis. That's what I'll do. Or, you know, I never even in high school, I never really thought about what I wanted for my career or anything like that, which is, you know, weird because you would think you'd have it all lined up. I did like fashion merchandising. I did take that. So I thought, well, I'd be a buyer or something to do with fashion. I always loved fashion and dressing weird.
And also I feel like since social media evolved in our life, I mean, people started to see more of models' lives, and so people, and the way Instagram is set up, everybody are sharing highlights of their life. Yeah. So when everybody's saying, "Oh my gosh, she's traveling the world, she's doing all this, working with all this brands," everybody want to do that because they think it's so easy. Yeah, but it's not easy. No, it's not. It's not especially easy. Starting out. So going back to, you know, what actually I did, because at the beginning, because I feel like, you know, I've done this research, and what was really hard for me is to actually take this first step, like start actually doing something. Because like I tried submitting pictures, didn't work out. Okay, what do you do next? Because that's, I mean, I feel like that's something that is missing, because whenever I watched other models' YouTube videos, Nobody tells you about that.
They don't explain how you get started.
No. They just tell you, okay, take your picture, send to the agencies. Okay, good. But what if nobody replied? What do you do?
Yeah.
And actually, Serge was the one who kind of pushed me into that, because he was always supported, like, throughout the whole process. And he bought tickets to DC Swim Week. So there was there was an event at the time, like it was like at the end of summer, the DC Swim Week. So he bought the tickets for me just to go there. And that was actually where it all started, because I went to the event and there were like a bunch of photographers, like local photographers, that started taking pictures of me, because I mean, being Russian, like I dressed up, like I did my best. And
it's great. You put on a show, right?
Of course. So they started taking pictures of me, and that's how I actually connected with a lot of photographers. And after that event, we set up a few test shoots. And step by step, like I would do one test shoot, post on social media. There were other people that saw that. I would do more test shoots. And then was also very interesting. I posted one photo shoot, and I did it with the male model. So the guy I met, so he posted it on his page. And one girl, like she was actually at the time, she was booking models for New York Style Fashion Week. And she saw the picture, and she really needed models. I mean, she knew and DC is limited. You're either with an agency, or the models that are freelancing, it's like hard to find like good models.
Right.
And I mean, somehow like she had no idea that I haven't modeled before. I mean, she saw my picture. You
fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah. And she was also Russian. Probably that's why like she kind of like trusted me. So she asked me if I want to go to New York. And of course I said yes. Like who would say no? Right. So in my first
was she paying?
Yes. So the designer paid. Actually, I even got paid. Yeah. I mean, not a lot, a little bit, but that was still nice. Yeah. And they organized the bus, so there were other models, and they were so cool to go to New York City, and that was my first ever runway show. I've never done any runway shows before.
Did you know how to walk?
I don't think so. Like at least like but I look at the pictures. Like I think I walked okay, but my eyes were like a deer. I looked like a deer because I had no idea where to look, and the confidence wasn't there, because they also like the designer. It was Miriam Belhayat. She has like this beautiful long dresses, and the dress she gave me was way too long. and it's like it's so hard to walk. I mean, especially with my
Did you have to pull it up? Yeah.
Kind of like, especially when you're making a turn, because it was so hard to walk, and it's so, I don't know, like I just feel like sometimes like the designers can make a better choice with models, because there were models that were 5'11". Yeah. And and she had different pieces, like just like pants, like short pants or something. Like sometimes I feel like designers can do better choices, so you're not struggling. Right. Because it's actually looked like, even on the pictures, to me it looked longer, because I'm only 5'9", you know. Right. And I feel like she prefers girls to be 5'10", 5'11".
So she could have put the shorter pants on you.
Yes, I would like. At least I wouldn't stress out as much.
Right. Well,
I really like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I really like the experience.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty big show. It was in this. I forgot the name of the ship. It was on a ship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a pretty big show. Actually, like I had no idea there's independent shows like New York Style Fashion Week, the Society Fashion Week. They're actually doing pretty good job. They're doing big shows. Right. I mean, they're not exactly a part of New York Fashion Week, but they're still decent shows. I mean, bigger than anything in DC.
See, I didn't even know that. I only thought it was just the main one. That was it. Was it by the harbor, probably?
I forgot. It's like Seaside. I forgot the name of the ship.
Oh, that's cool. I know when I first started doing any kind of photo shoots, I mean, I had no idea how to move. It's like nobody teaches you that. Like we do model secrets because we have model secrets, so we can help girls learn how to do these things, how to move, how to walk, all these things that I was never taught. I mean, I think it's crazy that you go into a job and you don't even know how to move. And the photographer can help you, of course. I mean, can help you learn how to pose and all that. But I had no idea. They would be like, okay, put your foot here, do your, knee like this, your leg like this. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like so awkward, and you kind of had to fake it. Just like you just said, for me, for photo shoots, I would just sort of fake it until
I got a good picture. Yeah, my first ever catalog shoot I did, there were other models and they would go first. And then I was like, I was kind of repeating what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned. Then I started experimenting and doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But still, when you do e-commerce, like there are like basic posing, like modeling 101.
Yeah. But, who knows how to do that? You don't know how to do that until somebody teaches you, or you're learning from watching somebody else. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. And I feel like, we're lucky right now. We can go on YouTube and pretty much learn anything.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I'm just amazed.
Or you can take our course.
Yes. Even better, because it's everything packed in one, class.
In one. We have a lot. And I keep thinking of more and more things we can add to it, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just like, we can talk and talk.
I know. So what is, so I'll ask you, what is your goal in the modeling world? I mean, I know we're doing Model Secrets, so that goal is to, teach people how to model and how to get started and all that. So, but as a personal goal, what is your model goal?
So that's actually a really good question, because at the beginning, I thought of like doing like big things, right?
Right.
And when I actually started modeling, I realized that I just want to work. I want to get booked, and it doesn't matter if it's like a big brand or if it's like a smaller brand, as long as I'm busy and doing things.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now I'm more focused on building my personal brand, and that's why I'm so into social media, growing this community there. And as you know, I really like making inspirational, motivational videos. And for me, when I saw other models, they were role models for me. So I want to be a role model for other girls.
Yes.
And in a way, sometimes I get this comments from girls that I inspired someone, and that actually means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That I can make an impact.
Me too.
I would love to do bigger things in New York and do high fashion. That would be amazing. But I don't know how things are going to go. That's why I'm trying different things, not just we do Model Secrets together now. I'm also going to start working at boutique store in DC, Bitter Grace. So I'm going to start working with them. And for them, I'm going to do a lot of social media as well.
That's fantastic.
So I never thought of actually myself doing social media, because so interesting, but so many introverted people I met are so good at social media, because I guess for them it's an outlet, so that's how they communicate with others. But being very extroverted people, for me, was so awkward, just being by myself talking to the camera. You don't really get this feedback. People just comment. It's doing live stream, what's that? But I guess now I actually enjoy doing it, and we'll see, what happens. I'm curious too.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, I guess that's kind of why we decided to do this, to interview each other, because I think nowadays it's nice to get to know who people are. I feel like at home I'm kind of a shy person, but in the modeling world, I have to be sort of outgoing and put myself out there. And what I do in placement and scouting, I have to be very out there too with the agents, and you get on a Zoom call, or you go before when we go in person, you have to kind of put the whole act on of hi, how are you, and it's not always like that, but you just kind of have to show who you are and show your personality. I think that's really important in the modeling world and in the business world, now that I'm on the business side of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So go ahead. Right.
I actually wanted, because I feel like I still have a lot of questions.
Okay. We're already
For
almost
you.
in for 45 minutes.
I know, right? Maybe we need to do
a
different
part 2.
parts.
Yeah. I was just saying, should we
Probably.
do a part 2?
Yeah. I feel like maybe we should do a part 2.
I do too, because we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting. You know, for me, it's so interesting about Russia. I could talk about that all day long. And how you grew up. To me, it's the most interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's just really different, like the
Very
way
different.
you see, the opportunities here when you come. Like, that's why a lot of immigrants are very successful, because you're really hustling.
Yeah. And one of the things I know about you is that you work really, really hard. And that's sort of, I almost feel like it's kind of an ingrained thing in you. Not like, for me, it's kind of like I have to make an effort sometimes. But for you, I just feel like it's kind of ingrained in you. I mean, maybe when I was younger, I
guess like it's something, it's just, I don't know, is it a personality trait or something? Because I always, like, I actually saw in Russia, so I always wanted to be like the first in the class, like, that was just something I've been always doing. Like, it was, I don't know, like kind of being a leader. So it's something I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and also that's something Serge tells me. He was like, can you just pick a schedule for yours and work like 9 to 5? Like, why are you working all day?
Well,
like,
I can't, I can't do that because, I have people texting me on Instagram,
know, right?
or, just texting me on my phone at 10 o'clock at night. So, I mean, I can't, I have this one funny story, and then maybe we'll start with we'll end with part 1. But I have this funny story. So there's an agent, and I won't say who it was, but there was an agent in New York, and like, I'm working all the time. Like, I don't think of it a Saturday or a Sunday. I don't think about it. So I emailed her. She was asking me about some of my models, and their agency had signed probably 8 of my models. And she was asking me about something. And she asked me on Friday, right? So of course, I mean, as soon as I got the email Saturday morning, I was messaging her and calling her.
Yeah.
And, okay, this is what, they're this height, and they're, this is when they can come up. And and so she called me back, and she started yelling at me. And she was like, I can't believe you're interrupting my family time, and you're talking on a Saturday. And I'm like, what? I mean, doesn't everybody just work all the time? I mean, as soon as you wake up, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
I know, it's just like, I'm just telling you, it's like, that's what means running your own business.
Yeah.
And even like, we do model seekers, yes, it's separate. But even for models, you have to be a businesswoman. So it's really important. Yeah. So you treat it as a business, and your social media presence is your responsibility. So, and this is already like a full-time job. It
is. Both of it.
Exactly.
All right. Into part 1?
Yes, that was so exciting. Yeah. We'll be back with part 2.
Yep.